You ever have one of those moments where you're absolutely not at your best, like, not even close, and that's when someone walks into your life and shifts the ground beneath you? That was me. Alone in my kitchen, hunched under the sink, elbow deep in a leak I had no business trying to fix, looking like I'd wrestled with a raccoon and lost. My name's Maya Bennett, and I wasn't expecting anyone, especially not them. My hair was a chaotic bun on top of my head, my old college t-shirt slightly damp from my war with the pipes, and my favorite pair of pajama shorts didn't exactly scream put together. I was in the middle of tightening something, I think, when a sharp knock at the door made me flinch and bump my head. Grumbling, I wiped my hands on a towel and padded barefoot to the door. The last thing I expected was a pair of men standing there like they'd been plucked straight from a magazine spread called Fix It Fantasy. One was older, late 40s, salt and pepper hair and deep brown eyes that held quiet patience. He introduced himself as Jack, calm, collected, and radiating competence. The other, his name was Ethan. Early 30s, golden-tanned skin, tousled sandy hair, with a confident smirk that made my stomach flip. "Got a call about a leak?" Jack asked, his voice low and steady. I stepped back, letting them in with a nervous laugh. "Didn't realize leaky faucets came with reinforcements," I joked, trying to play it cool while my cheeks betrayed me. Ethan raised an eyebrow, his gaze sweeping from my bare legs to my messy bun. "We aim to please," he said smoothly, dropping his toolbox on the floor with a wink. I rolled my eyes, but couldn't help the smile that tugged at my lips. "Coffee?" I asked, turning toward the kitchen, already craving the caffeine and maybe, just maybe, a reason to extend their visit. "Black," Jack replied, moving toward the sink. "I'll take whatever she's having," Ethan added, stepping just close enough to stir the air between us. As I handed them their mugs, my fingers grazed Ethan's. A tiny shock zipped up my arm, real, electric. He looked at me with this quiet curiosity, like he was trying to figure me out. And I realized, I was doing the same. Who was I now? Post-divorce, post-routine, post-feeling desirable? I bent down again, pretending to search under the sink while their eyes stayed fixed on me. I felt it. I didn't rush. I let them look. When I stood again, Ethan was still watching me, lingering, unashamed. I met his gaze and held it, lips curling into a slow, knowing smile. "Didn't know plumbing came with perks," Ethan murmured, voice low enough to make my pulse jump. Jack gave him a glance, part warning, part amused, but didn't say a word. The energy in the kitchen changed. There was no denying it. I crouched again, slower this time, reaching for a rag I didn't need, feeling their silence thicken. A sway of my hips. A soft breath behind me. When I stood, Ethan was closer, his arm brushing against mine as he reached past me. Unnecessary contact. I didn't move. Neither did he. Behind us, Jack paused. Our eyes met. Something unspoken passed between us, an acknowledgement. A curiosity. And yet, he didn't turn away. That, more than anything, made my skin prickle. Since the divorce, I'd convinced myself I didn't need this connection, desire, heat. I'd buried it beneath routines and broken pipes and loneliness. But standing there, surrounded by two men who were very much aware of me as a woman, not just a task or a chore, it stirred something deep. Ethan leaned in, his breath warm at my ear. "You always this easy to read, Maya? Or is today special?" I swallowed, forcing a casual tone I didn't quite feel. "Depends who's doing the reading." His smile deepened. And then his hand was at my waist, hovering. I didn't stop him. Jack still hadn't moved, but the tension in his jaw and the heat in his stare said everything. Then, Ethan's lips touched the side of my neck. A soft, deliberate kiss that made my eyes flutter shut. It wasn't rushed, wasn't vulgar, just honest. And I let it happen. When he stepped back, Jack moved forward. A slow shuffle. One hand landed gently on my shoulder, grounding me. The other swept my hair aside, his touch far more reverent. When his lips brushed the curve of my neck above where Ethan's had been, I let out a shaky breath. This wasn't about chaos anymore. This was about being seen. I leaned back slightly, into Jack's steady frame, while Ethan stood in front of me, his fingers finding my jaw, thumb tracing along my cheek. The counter pressed into my back. I wasn't trapped, I was held. And for the first time in years, I didn't want to run or retreat. Their touches weren't frantic. They weren't demanding. They were synchronized. One hand along my spine, another gently lifting my chin. Kisses trailed slowly, respectfully, like I was being rediscovered. I didn't have to give directions, didn't have to be in charge. I just had to be present. And I was, completely. Ethan kissed beneath my ear while Jack's hand steadied my hip. My eyes drifted shut again. Time slowed. Every breath, every whisper of skin felt intentional. No shame. No guilt. Just release. Eventually, they both stepped back. One hand lingering before slipping away. The air shifted again, quieter now. Ethan's cheeks were flushed. Jack's smile was calm, but knowing.